My name is Ralf Siwiti. I am Zambian based in Lusaka, and I work for the World Food Programme, looking after the Sun Business Network here in Zambia. We offer tools and services. For instance, I'll give you an example. One of the first things we did when we came with the Sun Business Network in its early stages, we discovered that to get certification from the Bureau of Standards, there were so many steps and processes, and a lot of the companies didn't know these steps. So what we did is we talked to the local Bureau of Standards. We call it Zambia Bureau of Standards, or ZABS for short. And we went to them and said, what does this process entail? And then we figured it out. We went through the process, and then we put it in a one-page document, all the steps, all the offices you need to go, and we call it the how to certify your product guide. And this was very helpful to business. Now, you might think that such a tool is not very, very important, but it is fundamentally what makes it easy for companies to get their quality mark, food certified, but also saves them money because they know where to go and how to go about it. So it's tools like that, research and information, and of course opportunities to meet other potential investors in their business and improvements to their formulations and their products. The first phase of the Sun movement was around bringing everybody together, coordinating efforts, bring everybody together to actually rally towards action in nutrition. The second phase is around tangible result or evidence-based activity or action. It's no longer about reporting the numbers of people who have joined the network. It's about what are they really doing to impact nutrition. And it's exciting for me as a Sun Business Network. We've also coincidentally come to the end of our first wave of funding, which is going to happen at the end of this year. And going into the next phase, we're looking at what are the things that we're going to do together with business to actually make a difference in nutrition, not only in Zambia, but also in Africa. The biggest challenge, I think, at first, initially, it was around the skepticism. Why work with private sector? Why would we spend time with private sector? In fact, private sector causes problems, or private sector should bring money. And we had to bring all the stakeholders together and say, we really need private sector in this role. There are things that we can do as development role, but there are things that private sector has to do. And it was that challenge of reducing the skepticism. It's still there, and it's quite understandable, but that's one of the challenges. The second challenge is this is a new field. And in Africa, we were one of the first, if not the first, business network that made forward progress at the country level. The biggest challenge was that there was no template for us to follow. There was no manual or example for us to follow. So we had to learn things as we go. And some of those things were mistakes that we ended up learning from. And we're glad because, we didn't have anywhere to learn from. So it's a new field, and it might take a while before everybody accepts that it's something that we need. Oh, we are like brothers and sisters. Nigeria, I went out to the launch of the Nigeria network. We shared our strategy, which they adopted for themselves. Tanzania also adopted its own strategy. We sent out one of my colleagues to go out there and support them with one of their recent work streams. Mozambique, we had several conversations before the launch of the Mozambique one, and we still speak to them. They were learning from us, now we're learning from them, so that's also good. We've also spoken to some of the business networks in as far as Asia, the Pakistani business network, which is still yet to take off, and as well as I think some colleagues from Indonesia and Bangladesh. So pretty close. I think now that the focus is on country networks rather than at a global scale, the proximity and the closeness is there, and we have country calls all the time and easy to reach each other on email, so we communicate much more than we ever did. When you talk about non-communicable diseases and obesity or overnutrition, people want to tell you, no, we need to deal with stunting first before we can get there. And my point is, you can't wait for it to become on the level of stunting before you can deal with non-communicable diseases. And in Zambia, the statistics are there. The levels of diabetes have just shot up. It's because of the consumption patterns and the lifestyle diseases. Zambia is now a lower middle income nation, so people can afford, a certain level of people now can afford more, have extra disposable income. So one of the ways we're dealing with that is that we went back to our donors and said, this also needs to be part of our strategy and of the work we're doing. Can you at least allow us to work in this space? And the donor said, yes, go ahead. And we are right now working with the National Food and Nutrition Commission to get to look at policies and interventions that can help or reduce non-communicable diseases through the private sector. Straight out, say the strategy. The strategy, I think in anything, you set goals and then you plan how you're going to achieve those goals. The way we developed the strategy is we went to business and asked, what sort of platform would you like to be part of? Focus on nutrition, but also on business. And we got feedback from them. Based on the feedback that we got from them, then we also went to the stakeholders and asked, what sort of platform would you like to see in the country, or you would like to be part of that really focuses on nutrition and integrates the private sector. So all that feedback put together, we then built it up. And I think that is what has helped us to make significant progress, because it's not strategies that we imposed on people, it's based on feedback.